Hi everyone, this is Rajeshwari. We'll be discussing a topic of optics clustering algorithm. Optics is nothing but ordering points to identify the clustering structure. It is a density-based clustering algorithm like DB-scan algorithm, but it does not identify or assign the clusters directly. Instead, it creates a reachability plot and which visually represents the clusters. So here we see this is a pictorial representation of optics clustering algorithm. If we can see the y-axis, we have the reachability distance, and the points or data points are ordered based on the reachability distance. So if it is low reachability distance, they form a cluster. If they have I, if they are in the peak, then they are said as a noise or peaks. Here if you can see the black points which are in the peak, they are peaks or noise in the cluster. So here we can see we have 5 different colors. These are each clusters, 5 different clusters. So this is a pictorial representation on how these clusters are plotted in optics clustering algorithm. And whenever we cut the graph at particular epsilon distance, that time it will behave as a DB-scan algorithm. We have a method like optics_DB-scan to implement it. So whenever we give particular epsilon, that particular epsilon is cut, that distance it is cutting that at that particular epsilon, then the algorithm will behave as a DB-scan. The clustering will happen based on the DB-scan algorithm. So if we're cutting at 0.5, then the clustering will happen like this. Here we have 3 clusters. And if we are cutting at 2.0 epsilon, then we will have 4 clusters. So based on this, we can compare all these 3 and we can select which are better, which is better, which type of clustering is better for our data set. So how the algorithm works. So initially we give the f's and min points. F is 6 mm here and min points equal to 5, and we will be selecting the starting point. We will be taking each data point and we will check whether it has at least minimum points in the particular f. For example, here we are taking p as a starting point and we will check whether it has at least min points, which is nothing but 5. Whether it has at least 5 neighboring points in the f's, which is 6 mm, and then if we satisfy the condition, then we are taking it as a core point. Here p satisfy the condition, so we are taking p as the core point. Once the core points are decided, we are analyzing the nearby points of the p. So here we are analyzing all the points nearby p, and we are seeing the reachability distance from p for all the points. So reachability distance from Q to P is 7 mm, whereas reachability distance of R to P is equal to 3 mm. So we are identifying the reachability distance, so we can plot the points in the reachability graph based on the reachability distance. So if we see in the graph, we will be having RP nearby, and the Q will be the farthest one. It might be a noise for this particular cluster. As it will be like a peak in the peak area, it might be a noise. So the clusters appear as valley in low reachability distance, and noise appears as peaks. Always the noise will be available in the peaks, high reachability distance. Advantage and limitations. It deals with varying density because here we are plotting the graph with reachability distance. The data points are arranged based on the reachability distance. It is one of the advantage, and you can also cut the graph at particular epsilon, and you can see how DB-scan will be clustered the particular cluster the data set using DB-scan. So that is one of the advantage. And outlier detection, as peaks are always mentioned as a noise, so we can detect outlier effectively. And limitations. Computational complexity higher. Here we are first identifying the core point and then reachability distance of the nearby points, and the reachability plot is done, and then we are identifying the cluster. So this process may take time, so computational complexity is higher, and the complexity of parameter selection. So we need to select proper F's and main points so that the clusters are identified, classified in a right manner. Thank you.